Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but these big breaking news now coming out within regards to Paul Pogba. Reportedly he's told Tokyo reports that he does want to leave Manchester United this summer, and he has actually publicly admitted this as Paul Pogba for the first time, and I think it did even say he's willing to go on strike, to force through his move from Manchester United to Real Madrid, because we do know he's been relentlessly, linked to a move away from Old Trafford as Paul Pogba, and we do know it's Juventus and Real Madrid, of course, that are battling out for his services. But Paul Pogba's first choice preference, of course, is Real Madrid, because obviously he's been on Zinedine Zidane's agenda, for quite some time. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is, and all that. And I think Paul Pogba now wants to rejuvenate his career, and of course he wants a new challenge and all that. And obviously initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is planning, to build a side around Paul Pogba. But obviously, I think Solskjaer's trying to do everything he can, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. But we do know he's been relentlessly, linked to a move away from the club. And maybe the couple of main factor reasons why he wants to leave Manchester United, like I said, probably wants to rejuvenate his career. Probably wants to be playing amongst better players, wants to be in Champions League football, wants to be winning stuff and all that. And of course, he's not experiencing this at Manchester United and all that, Paul Pogba. But we do know reports have been coming out this week, saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing him. It also said that the Juventus director had travelled to London, to hold negotiations with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. And this actually came from Damasio, who's an Italian journalist. He said, Juventus have begun negotiations with Manchester United, and Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent Raiola, who of course has had his worldwide ban lifted, because initially he did get a ban. I think it did initially say that he couldn't conduct any transfers. I don't think it really provided a reason why he got this ban, but anyway, this worldwide ban now has been lifted. But Paul Pogba is not keen on making the return back to Turin, even though he did have 4 good years in Turin and all that. He exceeded expectation levels. He did really well, but he hasn't really replicated this form, since he returned back to Manchester United. Obviously, we did pay £89 million for him. Obviously, our most expensive signing. Hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought. He would have been, of course. But Paul Pogba was saying a while back, at some point in his career, he does want to play for Real Madrid. But we do know we want around £150 million for Paul Pogba. I think Real Madrid are only willing to pay up to £135 million. So this could be problematic, for Real Madrid, because we're demanding £150 million, and Real Madrid, of course, are reluctant to me. Now, I did initially say before that Florentino Perez, was not keen on a straight cash payment. He did basically say, was it early on this week or was it last week, saying that Real Madrid were willing to offer Gareth Bale in a transfer offer, of course, for Paul Pogba. But more than likely, anyway, Juventus wouldn't be able to afford Paul Pogba outright. So obviously, Juventus would have to offload at least 1 or 2 of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba. He did initially say that one of the players Juventus were willing to offer was actually Paul Dybala. He's been on Manchester United agenda for quite some time, and it also said we told Juventus we want Joe Cancelo in exchange for Paul Pogba, if we were willing to let Paul Pogba go to Juventus. But it's been blatantly made clear he wants to make the move to Real Madrid. It came out a couple of weeks ago saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. Obviously, we do know Paul Pogba's agent Raiola, at least in the last couple of months, has been in the process of trying to secure his move to Real Madrid. Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract at Manchester United, with an option of a further year. But it's looking very, very likely, that he's currently going to be going. Some Manchester United fans will be happy about it. Some Manchester United fans, will be disappointed about it. We're seeing glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form, mainly in that 3-month period, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. And that's when we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba, because he was in scintillating form, he was scoring goals, he was providing, he was expressing himself, and we only saw the best of him when Ander Herrera was playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact Ander Herrera, of course, made in that midfield. But like I said, with us selling Paul Pogba, I think it will help us with our rebuilding process. It'll also help us with our transition and all that. And like I said, the spending spree is around £200 million. But like I said, it's going to amount up to a lot more than that. If we sell Pogba, and of course, if we sell Romelu Lukaku, and obviously it's looking very likely, that we are going to sell Romelu Lukaku. But Paul Pogba was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, last year. you know, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. I think there was talks about him, you know, going to Barcelona back in January. I think also, you know, Juventus winning for him last year. But obviously, you know, Paul Pogba with us, you know, he's won the Europa League and obviously, you know, won the League Cup with us. Obviously, you know, that came in his second season at Manchester United, of course, and obviously that came in Jose Mourinho's first season, you know, when won the Europa League and the League Cup and all that. I think Paul Pogba last season I think he scored about 16 goals and provided 11 assists in about 47 games in all competitions. But like I said, you know, we've got a history of spending big on players, you know, especially in recent years. You know, Pogba 89 million, you know, Lukaku 75 million pounds, of course. But I think, you know, this summer, you know, we are moving away, you know, from you know, signing them established players and all that. And, you know, quite a few people, you know, said, you know, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer because there's quite a lot of players on our agenda, you know, that are available for a reasonable figure. But as you all know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. You know, he wants to develop a squad, you know, of young, hungry, homegrown talents and all that, as you all know. But he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Obviously, we've got our first signing on the board through Daniel James. But obviously now Solskjaer's going to want to build on that, you know, and bring another 4 or 5 new additions in. And obviously, you know, you can see the deficiencies in the squad and you can identify the areas where, you know, Manchester United are lacking. But Solskjaer, you know, wants to build a squad, you know, worthy of our history, of the club's history and all that. Obviously, we know we have underachieved for the last 5 or 6 years because obviously, you know, we've been mismanaged in the last 5 or 6 years, you know, since Alex Ferguson retired. We do know a hell of a lot of money has been spent into the club. You know, we've seen players come in and of course we have seen players go. But Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of last season, you know, he still believes we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But like I said, Champions League football is always very pivotal, you know, when you do want to get your number 1 targets and all that. But, you know, I know we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, but like I said, you know, we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. We've got a fantastic fan base, you know, we're the most successful team in England historically. You know, we've won 13 Premier Leagues, obviously, you know, 20 all and all that. And yeah, so, you know, some players, you know, still may want to come to Manchester United, but like I said, you know, who can we get, you know, to replace Paul Pogba now? Like, it's looking very imminent. He's going to be going to Real Madrid. But we do know Real Madrid, like I said, have got 5 signings on the board this summer so far. You know, they've got Eden Hazard for 150 million. Obviously, you know, they got Luka Jovic from Frankfurt. They also got Mendy from Lyon. I think they got Rodrigo, or whatever his current name is, and they got Eder Militao from Porto. So Zinedine Zidane knows that, you know, Paul Pogba will help him with his rebuilding project. And initially, you know, Zinedine Zidane is obviously, you know, intending on obviously, you know, linking Paul Pogba up, you know, with Casemiro in his Real Madrid midfield. So obviously, you know, wants to rejuvenate his career and all that. But you know, we had Paul Pogba, you know, when he was younger, as you all know. Obviously, this was under the Alex Ferguson era, but obviously, you know, based on limited appearances, you know, obviously he left the club on a free transfer and then went and had 4 good years in Turin and all that. But I think reports came out earlier on last week saying, you know, that Juventus are interested in re-signing him and all that, but they haven't made any kind of a formal bid and all that. But yeah, I think his definite first choice preference, of course, is Real Madrid. But yeah, like I said, I don't think Real Madrid, you know, would be keen on spending another £150 million, but I think they're willing to pay up to around the £135 million. And like I said, he is our most expensive signing and all that. So yeah, that's big news. He's told reporters in Tokyo he wants to leave Manchester United, and he's even, you know, publicly announced this. And I think now he's initially planning, you know, to actually, you know, put a transfer request in, but I think if this doesn't work, then he's willing to go on strike, you know, to force the move away from Manchester United, you know, so he can make the move to Real Madrid. But like I said, you know, he did build a great relationship up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because, you know, like I said, you know, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managed the Manchester United reserve team, you know, he watched some of this team at this day and age go and develop, and of course one of them was Paul Pogba. But, you know, obviously recent reports have said that Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's relationship is slowly fading, but I don't think anything is going to convince him, you know, to remain at the football club. But yeah, you know, he's been heavily linked to a move to Real Madrid, you know, for quite a while. I think also Paul Pogba said, you know, he was willing to take a pay cut, you know, to make the move to Real Madrid, because obviously he's on about 13 million a year, and obviously, you know, Real Madrid are not willing to meet his 13 million a year wage demand. So obviously I think he's willing to take a pay cut. It's Pogba. So who could replace, you know, Paul Pogba at Manchester United? And we do know there was a lot of talks about, you know, Yuri Tillemans from Leicester, you know, going on yesterday. He did basically say now we have renewed our interest in Yuri Tillemans, and I think he'd be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because he's mainly mainly box-to-box midfielder. He can also play him as an attacking midfielder, can Yuri Tielemans. He's only 22 years of age. Reports came out yesterday saying that Manchester United have made initial contact. Well, we've been in talks with his agent, of course, over a possible deal, and he is available for a reasonable figure. I think potentially, Monaco rate him at around £40 million. I think Manchester United have been in for Yuri Tielemans before quite a few times. I think, we was tracking him, when he was at Anderlecht, because that's actually, where he began his career, Yuri Tielemans. But yeah, looks a pretty decent midfielder. Obviously, he's had 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, he has been at Leicester on loan and all that. And Yuri Tielemans, was pivotal in Leicester's transformation under Brendan Rodgers. So Leicester are actually, keen on getting him permanently. Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this, about getting him on a permanent deal. But I think Yuri Tielemans, maybe would be interested, in coming to the Premier League and maybe, coming to Manchester United and all that. Monaco said they rate him at around 40 million. He's under contract with Monaco until 2022. Reports did say before that he's expected, to return to Monaco. Is Yuri Tielemans, but I do believe he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. So now, reportedly, he's on our current agenda and all that. But I did say that midfield area is one of the pivotal areas where we need to strengthen up. I do believe we need a holding midfielder. We definitely need a replacement for Ander Herrera. But I think, Yuri Tielemans would blend in our midfield very, very well. Initially, Monaco got him for £21 million back in 2017 from Anderlecht and all that. Obviously, when he was at Anderlecht, I think he scored about 35 goals across 4 seasons, in about 185 appearances. So yeah, he's now reporting, on our current agenda. I want to give you some additional information about Bruno Fernandes as well from Sporting Lisbon, because we do know he's one of our main priority targets. Is Bruno Fernandes, and obviously, he has been on our agenda, for quite some time. Obviously, we want to get a deal finalised there for Bruno Fernandes. Now, recent reports have been coming out today, actually, in fact, saying that Atletico Madrid are reportedly preparing to put a bid in for him of around 44.6 million. I think they are preparing to put this bid in sometime next week. Reportedly now Atletico Madrid entered the race for him. Obviously, a lot of reports were coming out from the Portuguese press last week, saying that Tottenham had entered the race. It also says that Liverpool have been in for, but now recent reports have said, Tottenham have ruled out the move for Bruno Fernandes, because obviously, like I said, with Tottenham, they've got quite a few, midfielders on their agenda. Obviously, Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer, because they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows and all that. But yeah, they were interested in Bruno Fernandes, and obviously they were seeing Bruno Fernandes as a replacement for Christian Eriksen. Obviously, Real Madrid are also in for Christian Eriksen. I think Christian Eriksen probably would be a much cheaper solution for Real Madrid than obviously Paul Pogba and all that. But like I said, Real Madrid want to get a deal over the line for Paul Pogba. But I think also Tottenham are seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative, to Giovanni Lo Celso, because obviously Tottenham have been in for Giovanni Lo Celso. I haven't read much up about Giovanni Lo Celso lately. Last time I heard it, I think it was last month, Tottenham had a £53 million bid turned down for him and all that. So I think he has been one of their main targets. So basically they were seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to him, but now Tottenham have ruled out the move for him. But we do know it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for Bruno Fernandes. But as it did confirm last week, City have withdrawn their interest. They have now pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes. So definitely Manchester United are still in there. Did initially say that we had scheduled the meeting with Sporting Lisbon, of course, to get a deal finalised. I think initially Sporting Lisbon wanted around at least £50 million for him. It did say the other week, we are preparing to pay around £70 million for his services. But Bruno Fernandes is willing to leave Sporting Lisbon. He said he would talk to Sporting Lisbon about leaving. If a team came up with an offer that can't be refused and all that, and a big club comes calling in. And I'd love Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. He's only 24 years of age. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. He scored 31 goals for Sporting Lisbon last season, of course. So hopefully we can get this deal finalised. We can get this deal finalised, of course. But like I said, reports came out, was it early on this week, saying that we were very, very close to signing him. It said, Manchester United have reached an agreement with Sporting Lisbon. He is under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. I think his initial release clause is around £86 million and all that. So probably, if Bruno Fernandes was to come in, he probably, would be the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But like I said, he obviously spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was young, Bruno Fernandes, he still says, he follows the Italian football and all that, he watches it and all that. But yeah, he spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was young. Obviously, he played for Sampdoria and Udinese and all that. But he's done well in his couple of seasons, with Sporting Lisbon. He's exceeded expectation levels and that. We need someone that can score goals in that midfield, and I do believe Bruno Fernandes is the right solution. He hasn't really played to the highest level as yet, but I do believe, he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. And like I said, he's had a good couple of seasons with Sporting Lisbon, and I do believe, he can come to Manchester United and definitely, replicate this in the Premier League and all that. But yeah, I'm very, very hopeful, that we can get a deal over the line for him. But now City have pulled out of the race, because I think City were only willing to pay around £47 million for his services anywhere, and City were willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal. So it did look likely at one point that City, were going to get a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. So hopefully, we can get him on the board. Obviously, as I've been updating you in the last couple of days as well about Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, it's looking like, we're going to get a deal over the line for him. So he's moved to Manchester United now. He's looking very, very imminent. Again, we are getting him for a reasonable figure, because I think we're closing on around the £25 million deal for Sean Longstaff. Obviously, last season was his first season in the senior squad with Newcastle. I think he played about 9 games last season under Rafael Benitez. I think, he sustained a knee ligament injury, back in March. I'm not too sure if he's still recovering from this knee ligament injury, but yeah, he's only very, very young. He's 21 years of age. I think he's also British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. I think he's also a box-to-box midfielder, is Sean Longstaff. So do you think he'd be the right solution for Manchester United? So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him, going on. I think he didn't join Newcastle's youth system in 2016. I think he also had loan spells with Kilmarnock. He also had loan spells with Blackpool. So it's not been fully finalised as yet, but reportedly we are closing on around a £25 million deal for him. So like I did currently say, I think we are going to be sensible with our recruitment this summer. We've got Daniel James for 15 million with some add-ons included, which does potentially right to around 17 or 18 million pounds. Call it 25 million for Sean Longstaff. So that's about 42-43 million pounds on 2 players. That's very, very cheap, of course, because like I said, it's not always about spending big on players. You can get the best players in the world, if not playing as a unit and they're not playing as a team, it isn't, currently going to get you nowhere. So yeah, Sean Longstaff is another midfielder that's been on our agenda. Obviously, as I've been updating you as well on a regular basis about Adrian Rabiot from PSG. Now, Manchester United are still in there for Adrian Rabiot. I think from Adrian Rabiot's perspective, he's still unsure, where he will be playing his trade next season. It's looking very imminent that he's going to be leaving PSG, but the beneficial thing about this is obviously, no team has to pay any transfer fee for Adrian Rabiot, because he is available on a free transfer this summer, because obviously he's a free agent this summer, and obviously he's coming to an end of his contract. I think also his mother acts like his agent, but quite a few teams have inquired about Adrian Rabiot's services. Arsenal have inquired about his services. I think Liverpool have been in there for him. I think Tottenham, have previously been in for him. Obviously we're in for him as well. Obviously, I think it did report a couple of days ago, saying that Juventus are in there for him. I think Adrian Rabiot has confirmed that he's held a negotiation with Juventus over the potential, move to the Italian giant and all that. But I think, he says, he likes Italian football, something like that, did Adrian Rabiot. But, yeah, so there's a number of clubs that are in for Adrian Rabiot. I think came out the other week saying that Everton were in for him, but I don't think he'd want to go to Everton, because obviously, Everton can't offer him, any European football and all that. But yeah, it came out, was it a week or two ago, saying that we'd reportedly offered him a lucrative contract, worth up to around 170 grand a week. Obviously, it did say there was also a signing on fee included of around £10 million. That's a year, so that obviously equates to around £170,000 a week. And we were willing to meet that. And Adrian Rabiot, is primarily a central midfielder. I actually think he can play in various positions in that midfield, but I think he's primarily a central midfielder. He's only 24 years of age. He's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. As I know, like I said to you, people have got reservations about his attitude, because his attitude is actually really, really bad, apparently. But he has spent the majority of his career with PSG. Obviously, he graduated from the youth system. Obviously, I think he's been at PSG about 8 years now. I think I think he's been at PSG about 8 years, as Adrian Rabiot and all that. But he has, I think he's done quite well, to be quite honest with you. Obviously hasn't played one single game for PSG this year, because obviously last year back in December he'd been withdrawn from the PSG squad by Thomas Tuchel. Based on his refusal to sign a new contract and all that. I think he also had a spell with Manchester City when he was younger, so he's obviously played in Manchester as well as Adrian Rabiot. So yeah, so do you think he'd succeed in the Premier League? And that is the question. I think he's definitely not going to be leaving PSG. I think also Barcelona have been in there for him before and all that. Maybe obviously he's played under Unai as well, and maybe Unai is keen on reuniting with Adrian Rabiot, because actually Adrian Rabiot flourished under Unai's guidance. So yeah, quite a few teams have been in there for him. So he's been another midfielder of course on our agenda. Obviously we would see him as a replacement for Ander Herrera. Obviously, as well as I updated you, was it yesterday about Ivan Rakitic from Barcelona. Now, it does say, Manchester United are in for him, but like I said, I've got reservations about, us bringing Ivan Rakitic in, because like I said, he's 31 years of age now, he's aging up, and don't get me wrong, Ivan Rakitic has had a really, really good career, but I just don't think now he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, and I think he'd become a flop in the Premier League. Obviously, Ivan Rakitic has never ever played in the Premier League and all that, and I just don't think he'd fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not intending on bringing any short-term players to the club, and Ivan Rakitic is 31. Don't get him wrong, I think he's a good player. He can play as central mid, he can also play as an attacking midfield. I think Manchester United have inquired about his services, quite a few times. I think, he's available for around £40 million. That's how much he's going to cost you, around 40 million quid. Nesto Valverde, the Barcelona manager, did confirm, he's willing to let, Ivan Rakitic leave Barcelona this summer, as long as they can find an adequate replacement, and of course if a suitable offer, comes in for Ivan Rakitic. But like I said, I've got reservations about, Manchester United being him in. Obviously the majority of his silverware he has won has obviously, come at Barcelona. He's been at Barcelona 5 seasons and all that. Obviously before he was at Barcelona, he was at Seville. I think he won the Europa League with Seville. I think he had about 3 years with Seville. I think before that he had about 3.5 years with Schalke, and obviously, as a youngster he began his career with Basel. Did Ivan Rakitic. He's under contract with Barcelona until 2021. I think from Ivan Rakicic's perspective, I don't think he's got any intentions of leaving Barcelona, but obviously, Barcelona have got Frankie de Jong coming in this summer, who would have paid around £65 million for from Ajax. So the reports saying that Ivan Rakitic, could be surplus to requirements. He could find game time very, very difficult. And I think Barcelona are intending on bringing a couple of others midfielders in. So Ivan Rakitic, could find himself surplus to requirements. But I think Solskjaer may be keen on bringing him in, but I've got reservations, about Manchester United, bringing Ivan Rakitic in. And so that's the latest news on him. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace, as I have been updating you on a regular basis now, and I'm hopeful that we can get a deal over the line for Wan-Bissaka. It did say we are set to hold further talks with Crystal Palace this weekend over coming to an agreement on a fee for Wan-Bissaka. Now, reportedly, we are preparing to put a bid in of around £50 million for him. Obviously, recent reports have said, we recently, had a £40 million bid, turned down for Wan-Bissaka. Looking at it, ultimately, Crystal Palace don't even want to sell Wan-Bissaka. They don't even want to basically, sell him, because they know how much of a central player he is to them and all that. But it did initially say, that Crystal Palace want around £68 million for Wan-Bissaka. But I don't think we're willing to pay £60 million. I think, we are now preparing to put a bid in of around £50 million. He has notified Crystal Palace as Wan-Bissaka that, he wants to leave Crystal Palace, and that he does want to make the move to Manchester United. But he's been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets, for quite a while. He's been on our agenda, for quite some time. He is a current right back. Don't forget, he is a right back, is Wan-Bissaka, and that's one of the pivotal areas, of course, where we do need to strengthen up, because obviously looking at it, we've got issues defensively. That was proven last season, because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season. But I do believe Wan-Bissaka would be the right solution for Manchester United. Obviously, he's proven in the Premier League. Obviously, so far has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. He's still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. Obviously, only made his senior debut in February of last year. did Wan-Bissaka, but obviously last season established himself as a first team regular for Palace, and I think he won the Palace's Player of the Year award and all that, so he did really well last season, so he has become an integral part of Crystal Palace's squad. So obviously Wan-Bissaka wants to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level and all that, and he is only 21 years of age, so reportedly now we have plans to put a bid in for him of around £50 million and all that. Obviously Crystal Palace are going to be in the market to find a replacement for him if he does leave. But yeah, I do really like him a lot. I think initially when Wan-Bissaka was younger, he was actually an out-and-out winner. But as he was developing him and all that, he got rotated as a right back. So he's now predominantly a right back. But obviously, we need a replacement for Antonio Valencia, because we know that Valencia is leaving the club. Obviously, he's been here 10 years. He's been a long-serving player at Manchester United, so we know he's leaving. But I don't know where his next destination is going to be. I think there's been talks about him going to the MLS. Obviously, we definitely need an upgrade to Ash Young, because Young's past his sell-by date. He's one of the problematic players in the club. Young's been here about 8 years now at Manchester United, but he's been a long-serving player here, and don't get me wrong, he was good when he was younger, when he was a winger and all that. Obviously, he was our first choice right back last season. Obviously, last season, Manchester United, giving that new 1-year extension, which was a mistake from the club. But like I said, no longer got the ability to fulfill that right back position, and we need a cover-up for Diego Dalot. Diego Dalot is the upcoming future, as we all know. We only got Diego Dalot last summer from Porto, was it, for around £20 million. But yeah, he's the upcoming future. But I do believe, Wan-Bissaka, would be the right solution. So we're holding furthermore talks with Palace of coming to an agreement on a fee. I think also Palace have demanded, for Wilfred Zaha's sell-on clause, to be removed if they are, willing to allow, Wan-Bissaka to join Manchester United, because there has also been talks of Wilfred Zaha, leaving Crystal Palace, as you all know, because he made an admission, was it about 3 or 4 weeks ago now? It might have been 3 weeks or a month ago, something like that. I updated you about it. He made an admission, saying that he wants to leave Crystal Palace because obviously he wants to take his footballing career to the next level, because he feels as though he's good enough to do that now, and obviously he wants to go to a team that can offer him Champions League football. And quite a few teams have been in for Wilfred Zaha. Arsenal have been in for him, but Arsenal are not willing to pay £80 million. Crystal Palace said they want £80 million. Arsenal were only willing to pay £40 million. There has been talks that he could possibly make a return to Old Trafford and all that, Wilfred Zaha. But would you take Wilfred Zaha back to Manchester United? Because obviously we had him when he was younger. He had a couple of years with us, but he never really got the opportunity. I think he only made like 4 first team appearances, when we had him for that couple of years. Obviously it was Alex Ferguson's last signing. Obviously, we paid around was it around £10 million for his services under Alex Ferguson and all that, but it didn't work out for him, in this 2-year spell at Old Trafford. But initially he's spent the majority of his career with Crystal Palace. Began his career with Crystal Palace as a youngster. Obviously came in Manchester United for a couple of years. Went back to Palace then on loan. Had a loan spell with Cardiff, so he has played under Solskjaer and all that. And I think then he signed permanently for Crystal Palace in 2015, the Wilfred Zaha, but he has become an integral part of their squad. He's 26 years of age, so he's in his prime, still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Can play as a forward, can also play as a winner. I think he extended his contract last summer, so he's under contract with Crystal Palace until 2023. But recently Palace has said, they want his sell-on clause removed. Obviously, we put a sell-on clause in his contract, that saw him, make the move back to Palace. But reportedly now Palace want us, to remove that sell-on clause if they're willing to let Wan-Bissaka, of course, join Manchester United. But yeah, it's very essential that we get a deal over the line for Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, there's been quite a few right-backs on our agenda though. There has, been talks of Thomas Meunier from PSG, and looking at it from a financial point of view, Meunier is going to substantially, cost us a lot less than Wan-Bissaka, because PSG said they want around 20... What? What plug? Yeah. Top at stairs. But yeah, I was just saying about Meunier. So yeah, PSG said they wanted around 25 million for him. He did say from his own preference, he wants to make the move to Manchester United, because he has been a Manchester United fan since he was a child. He did say Manchester United and Arsenal, were initially in for Thomas Meunier, and both teams had made contact and all that. Meunier is 27 years of age. He's predominantly a right back. He can play in other positions, but predominantly a right back. He's got goals in him, he's got assists in him and all that. He's only got a year left on his deal with PSG. I think he's been at PSG about 3 years, but he's he's also, being on Manchester United's agenda. So looking at it, he's a much cheaper solution than Wan-Bissaka, but I do believe Wan-Bissaka, of course, is our top priority. And if we don't get a deal over the line for Wan-Bissaka, then we'll look at Thomas Meunier, and probably look at a couple of other right backs as well. But like I said, we had so many players on our current agenda. Obviously, as I've been updating you on a regular basis as well about Harry Maguire from Leicester. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks about him going on. He could end up making the move to Manchester United. Now, we do know it has been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for Harry Maguire's services. Obviously, we believe now we can beat Manchester City to the signing of Harry Maguire, and we do believe that we can outbid Manchester City for Harry Maguire's services, because we know that he has been on City's agenda and all that, and I think from Harry Maguire's preference, he wants to make the move to Manchester City, because obviously City are the dominant force at the moment in England and all that. They can offer him Champions League football, but City are reportedly reluctant to pay what Leicester are demanding, because Leicester want around £80 million for him. City only value him at around £50 million. But looking at it ultimately, like I said, Leicester don't even want to sell Harry Maguire, and this is why they've priced him out of the transfer market. They're demanding an extortionate amount for him. They want around their 80 million. Some reports said they want around their 90 million pounds Harry Maguire, and I think Manchester United are willing to pay this, or are willing to play a fee closer to what Leicester are demanding. But I don't think he's worth 80 or 90 million pounds. But I still think he's a really, really good central defender. He's proven in the Premier League. He's Harry Maguire. He's been at Leicester a couple of seasons, exceeded expectations. But obviously Harry Maguire at some point his career is going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. But Harry Maguire has been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford since last summer, because the rumours have continued to persist since last summer, because actually the process did start under Jose Mourinho, because obviously last summer our priority was to recommend a centre back to come in, and obviously Harry Maguire was one of the players that Jose Mourinho wanted last summer, but obviously it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho, because the board weren't backing the signs that he wanted to bring in. He had bad disputes with the board as well, he had bad disputes with the players, so this is why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho. Harry Maguire signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's under contract with them until 2023. Manchester United would be able to definitely show him first team football, though. I think it would help us with our own rebuilding project and all that. I think he'd blend in very, very well alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. But if he was to go to Manchester City, Manchester City wouldn't be able to guarantee him first team football week in, week out, because City have got Otamendi in their back line, they've got John Stones in their back line. They've got Otamendi, John Stones, and they've also got Laporte in their back line. So that he wouldn't be guaranteed first team football. And if Man United were willing to pay up to 80 or 90 million pounds for his services, obviously it'd make him the most expensive defender in world football, because obviously the most expensive defender at the moment is Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, and also making the most expensive English player of all time and all that. So Leicester said they want around 80 or 90 million pounds for him. Obviously before he was at Leicester, he was at Hull. Obviously Leicester paid around 17 million pounds for his services from Hull. He also had a loan spell with Wigan, and he actually, when he was a youngster, he began his career here with Sheffield United, where I think he played about 166 professional games for Sheffield United. But he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. 26 plus. He's British. Like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got quite a few British players on his current agenda. So hopefully we can get a deal over the line for Harry Maguire, because like I said, I think he'd blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. Very, very well. Lindelof has done really, really well for us in his second season. He did really, really well. I thought he really, really improved. Victor Lindelof, his distribution was good, his passing really, really good. He was showing that ability. He can play out half in the back. But I initially said I think we need two central defenders, because like I said, Smalling's not good enough. Jones is not good enough, and Smalling and Phil Jones being two long-serving players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, but they're too inconsistent now. And we did give them new long-term contracts, which was a mistake for Manchester United. Comparing them both, I think Smalling is a much better defender than Phil Jones, but they are too inconsistent. Now we've got Eric Bailly, but Eric Bailly's initially lost his place in the squad. I think he's become injury prone, and I think his Manchester United career has been affected. The amount of injuries he's sustained, his fallout under managers and all that. I think it's really had a bad effect on Eric Bailly's career. So I think, we definitely need to get rid of Bay. I think we are open to sell him. Probably we would be looking to recoup the initial £30 million, that we did pay for him 3 years ago from Villarreal. But yeah, I think we need to get rid of him. It's looking like Rojo and Darmian are going as well. That's going to help us with our rebuilding process and transition. An estimated guess, we can get between 25 to £30 million, for Darmian and Rojo, because they've both enjoyed difficult times at Manchester United. So I do believe that we need two central defenders. Like I said, we do know Matty Stella Ligt has been on our agenda, but I don't think we're now going to get a deal over the line for Matthijs de Ligt. I think his likely destinations are Barcelona and PSG. Recent reports have said now that PSG are in the ascendancy, and he initially said that he had turned down a move to Barcelona, even though we do know Barcelona being considered to be the favourites at least in the last couple of months and all that. I don't think Matthijs de Ligt yet has made a current decision on his future. He still remains unsure, but it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Ajax and all that, but I don't think we're going to get him, even though he was one of our priority targets, because we're not in Champions League football, and I think Matthijs de Ligt, wants to go to a club that can offer him Champions League football and all that, and yes, I don't think he'll come to Manchester United, but so many teams have inquired about his services. He's only 19 years of age. Obviously, he has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. Obviously, he's been senior squad, since 2016. He made his senior debut with just the age of 17 and all that, but I don't see Matthijs de Ligt coming in. Obviously, PSG I think offered Ajax £70 million plus add-ons, and I think also PSG offered Matthijs de Ligt a five-year contract with around 340 grand a week. He initially said, we offered Matthijs de Ligt a contract with 350 grand a week. Obviously, that equates to almost £17 million a year. Obviously, if that was to process it and make him the highest paid teenager in world football, also make him one of the highest paid players at the club. But like I said, I don't see Matthijs de Ligt now coming in. In terms of transfer fees, he's going to probably cost you from between 70 to 75 million pounds. Obviously, Liverpool have been in for him. Like I said, the main factor reason why Liverpool have been in for him because of Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, City have been in for him because, like I said, City want a replacement for Vincent Kompany. Juventus have previously been in for him. Bayern Munich were in for him, but I think now Bayern Munich have opted out of the race. So I do believe he's going to be leaving, but I think he'll go to Barcelona or PSG. Will Matthijs de Ligt, but enjoyed a great season last season. With Ajax, won the domestic double with them, the Eredivisie title, and of course progressed to the Champions League semi-final. So he can leave Ajax with his head held up high. I haven't read up lately, a bit about Matthijs de Ligt, but last time I read up, it said PSG, of course, were the favourites. But yeah, so many central defenders on our agenda, and yeah, so we need to see vast improvements, going on into this season of what we saw last season, because last season, we finished sixth. We didn't win many silverware and that, so it was very, very disappointing last season. Like I said, we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding. Like I said, not none of this squad's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. Daniel James is his, but the rest of it's not his squad. He's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. He's inheriting Van Gaal's players. There's Matty from the David Moyes era. There's still 4 or 5 players here. From the Alex Ferguson era and all that. So don't forget, he is inheriting all them. With Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, do I think he's got the capabilities, to elevate Manchester United forward? Well, time will tell. Going on into next season, I do love him a lot because he was a great player for us for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. He hasn't really got the experience of a manager, to the highest level, and this is what does concern me. But I don't want us to sack him because I love him a lot, and plus, we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking managers. And like I did say, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to be able to now succeed in these conditions? Obviously, now we're not expected to appoint a sporting director. We're not expected to appoint a sporting director. Obviously, I wanted us to get a director of footballing because obviously that's a structural change that we do need at the club. Obviously, now obviously Ed Woodward, will be overseeing our transfer business this summer and all that. But there were so many names, linked with that director as well, and we're linked with getting a director of football in at least for the last couple of months. But Ferdinand were linked with a role. Darren Fletcher were linked with a role. Patrice Evra were linked with a role. Paul Mitchell were linked with a role. Edwin van der Sar were linked with the role. So many names, were linked with that director as well. But we had to get a director of footballing because, like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs backing this summer. But yeah, I am very, very disappointed about that. As I've been updating you about Romelu Lukaku, now it is looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Manchester United. Romelu Lukaku, obviously he's been heavily linked with a move to Inter Milan. Obviously, I think from Lukaku's preference, he wants to make the move to Inter Milan because he's now surplus to requirements at Old Trafford. Obviously, he's been here a couple of years. Obviously, he scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions for Manchester United. Obviously, enjoyed a difficult second season with the club because obviously we know now Rashford is first choice ahead of him, and Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford. Don't get me wrong, Lukaku did well in his first season, did really, really well in his first season, but didn't really replicate that, of course, in his second season. So it does basically say, Inter Milan have agreed everything, with Lukaku and all that, but obviously, an initial fee has not yet, come to an agreement. Obviously, we want at least around £62 million of Lukaku. It came out a couple of weeks ago, saying that we were demanding around £80 million for Romelu Lukaku. So either way, we're looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay faith in from Everton a couple of years ago, because obviously, we paid £75 million for him. Obviously, there were several add-ons included in the deal of around £15 million, which initially, raising it, to £90 million. He's got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on about £258,000 a week. But it did initially say everything else has been agreed. It said Inter Milan have agreed the personal terms, which means Lukaku could earn around 6.6 million in bonuses until 2024, because I think Lukaku has agreed a 5-year deal with Inter Milan. But yeah, Antonio Conte has identified Lukaku as his number one target. Obviously, Antonio Conte wanted Lukaku a couple of years ago when he was a Chelsea manager. But obviously, Lukaku, came to Manchester United and all that. But I think, we've got to get rid of him. He is one of the problematic players. But Manchester United told him a couple of weeks ago, that he can leave them and all that. But we want at least around £62 million for him. But I think this is a figure that Inter Milan are reluctant to currently meet him and all that. Reports came out earlier on this week saying that Inter Milan had offered Ivan Perisic as part of a swap deal for Romelu Lukaku, but reportedly we turned this down. They offered Perisic plus cash for Lukaku, but Manchester United did turn this down because we know that Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. He was a long-term target with Mourinho, but he's no longer a Manchester United target now. I think they've also offered Icardi as part of a swap deal, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not keen on bringing Mario Icardi in. But I've got strong reservations about Lukaku. His first touch concerns me. He's a big game bottler. He hasn't really got that endless potential. So it does, I've got a lot of strong reservations about him. But don't get him on, his ratio's still very, very good in the Premier League. His pedigree's also very, very good in the Premier League. But he's been on Inter Milan's agenda now for quite some time and all that. I think he was in Italy quite a few weeks ago. He'd held negotiations with Inter Milan's representatives over getting a deal over the line and all that. I think he did say Inter Milan need to raise around £40 million before the end of this month, to meet financial fair play regulations. But it seems to me at the moment, the initial fee seems to be the stumbling block of Lukaku going to Inter Milan, because they haven't come to an agreement on a fee yet. Inter Milan have been in negotiations with us, have come into an agreement on a fee. So yeah, we need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, like I said. We need a replacement for him. We need someone that can lead the line, score them goals that we do need, because last season didn't score enough goals, wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal and all that. So yeah, I think we definitely need to get rid of Lukaku. But get rid of Lukaku and Pogba, like I said, that's probably £200 million there. We are currently going to raise them at least, maybe even more than that, depending on how much we get for Pogba and all that. We want 150 million. Real Madrid won't pay 150 million. I think they may pay around between 130 or 135 million, but they won't pay 150 million, because obviously Real Madrid have just paid 150 million pounds for Eden Hazard from Chelsea, as you all know. I think another problem with us as well, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. Of course, that's been another issue. As you all know, but I expect probably about 3 or 4 players to leave Manchester United this summer. Three players to leave Manchester United this summer, maybe 4, maybe 5. Of course, I do not know. But obviously, all the players that we do want to leave this summer, we're not going to be able to address that problem in one window, like I said. But you can see the deficiencies in the squad. You can see the areas, where we are currently lacking, of course. But yeah. So we've got Daniel James on the board. We want to build on that now, like I said. Should Bruno Fernandes should be coming in, hopefully, but now it's saying that Atletico Madrid have entered the race for him. They're preparing to put a bid in for him of around 44.6 million, and they are going to put this bid in sometime next week. And yeah, so the good news is Tottenham have pulled out of the race for him. I think Liverpool may be still in there. City have also pulled out of the race. Which is very, very good news. And yeah, so the main part of this video was to give you the latest news about Paul Pogba. He's confirmed. He wants to leave Manchester United. He has publicly announced this for the first time, and he's also told Tokyo reporters that he wants to leave, and he's obviously seeking a new challenger and all that. And obviously he's willing to even go on strike to force his move away from Old Trafford. So that's how desperate he wants to leave Manchester United, and he's so determined to go play under Zinedine Zidane and all that. So looking like now Pogba is going. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.